Hey guys, it's Elise and welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. Today we're going to be making another one of my famous no-bake tarts. As usual, this one uses minimal ingredients. There's just 5 today and it's going to be ready in less than 30 minutes. These are fabulous if you want to whip them up at the last minute, and I have a ton of no-bake tarts on my YouTube channel, so I will leave a link down below to the playlist in case this one's not quite what you're looking for. Today's tart is going to be a Toblerone tart. The things that you're going to need to recreate your Toblerone tart: I've got some milk chocolate, and I've also got a large Toblerone and many small ones. I've got some crushed white cookies. You can use any white cookie you like, anything from a graham cracker, a shortbread, pretty much whatever's on sale. I've got a little bit of butter, it doesn't matter if that's salted or unsalted, and I've got some heavy cream or whipping cream. I'm going to be making mine today in a 9-inch tart pan with a removable base. Let's get started. The first thing you want to do is you're going to melt your butter down and pour it over your cookie crumbs and stir it all the way through. I'm going to leave all of your quantities and conversions on the MyCupcakeAddiction.com website, so if you want to recreate this recipe, you can go and print that recipe out there. You want to stir this through, and look, depending on the type of cookie you use, you're going to have different levels of absorbency. It just changes depending on how dry the cookie is, whether it's a shortbread as opposed to like a graham cracker. So you're looking for the consistency of wet sand. Take my measurements, but if you feel you need to add a little more butter, get it to that wet sand consistency. So that you know that you've got the right consistency, what you really want is when you pick it up and give it a squeeze, it holds its shape kind of like a cake pop dough or something, but you don't want it to be crumbling apart. You really need it to be holding its shape. In goes my base mixture, and I always make a ton of base because I'm a bit of a sucker for the crunch that it gives to the tart, but it also makes it a bit more stable, particularly because we're not baking it. Don't worry, it flattens down, and you want to make sure that you're compacting it really firmly. As you're compacting it, you also want to let it kind of slide up the sides and the edges and compact those down. Let it get nice and jagged up there because we're going to neaten it off and get a really nice shell line to our tart. As a rule too, the thicker you make the base, the less money you need to spend on Toblerones to fill it up. Once I'm happy that it's pretty nicely compacted, I'm going to use just the base of a glass, or this one's like a science beaker, just to push down, which also helps to compact those edges. With any no-bake, you've got to have a strong base or else it's going to crack and crumble. So the firmer you can push and the more you can compact it, the more stability we give the tart. Now that I'm happy with the compacting and the placement of my base, I'm just going to run my knife all the way around the top edge. You can see how lovely and neat it makes our top edge. I'm going to put my tart base now off into the fridge. It's time to make our filling, so I'm just removing all of my cookies from my makeshift cookie holder. And if you guys follow me on the My Cupcake Addiction Instagram, you probably already saw this idea in this photo, and some of you guys even guessed what I was making. So I've got my chocolate in a bowl. I'm just going to break up my large candy bar. All right, over goes my whipping cream. This one's going to go into the microwave on 30-second intervals, and I'm going to stir in between each microwave until it's really nice and smooth. Won't be completely smooth because you'll have your little chunks of honey nougat in there. So my tart shell, it doesn't need to be really particularly cold. I'm just starting the chilling process. And my Toblerone mixture is really nice and smooth, except for some lovely lumps of almonds and honey nougat. I'm going to pour that straight into my tart base. I feel like I'd also just dip strawberries into this and just eat it as it is. It smells amazing. Just using the back of my spoon just to spread it all the way out to the edges. Couple of light taps, and then off into the fridge for 10 minutes before we decorate. Your Toblerone base now should have kind of formed almost like a little bit of a skin, but it's just going to be firm enough that you can start laying your Toblerone on top. I chose to cover mine in Toblerone, but if you don't want to have that much Toblerone on top of your tart, you could also put some nice little drops of frosting or fresh cream around the outside with just a piece of Toblerone on each. I always tend to go over the top with these things. I love this idea. I love it because it's so incredibly easy, but it looks really difficult. So it's one of those kind of cheap desserts that you can whip up in half an hour and everybody thinks you've been in the kitchen all day. I hope you liked today's video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do for 2 new videos every week. And as always, guys, thanks very much for watching.